Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well. As you may already know, on 2nd of April 2025, the Trump administration unveiled the much talked about reciprocal tariffs on nearly 60 countries. This led to massive corrections in financial markets globally and an erratic environment for global trade. There has been growing trade tensions between two of the world's largest economies, that is US and China, and this is impacting the global trade negatively. The objective of today's video is to understand what is Trump trying to achieve through America First trade policy, how the US markets are getting impacted by China's retaliation through counter tariffs and export curbs, and lastly, how is this situation of high tariffs turning out to be a silver lining for India's manufacturing industry. If you are new here, then do smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So without any further ado, let's get started. It was already known before Donald Trump was re-elected as the President of the United States that he would come up with drastic measures to reinstate high growth in America's economy, but little did the world know that he would come up with reciprocal tariffs of up to 145% on trade partners globally. These tariffs also included a discounted 26% tariff on Indian imports to the US. From what I understand, the Trump administration is not keen at imposing such high tariffs on other nations, but they are merely using it as a tool to negotiate better trading terms with trade partners. This is possibly the reason why reciprocal tariffs on most nations are on hold as of now. Through the America First trade policy, the aim of the US government is to reduce the trade deficit it has with trade partners, protect the domestic industries, and revitalize manufacturing back in the US. But this transition is not turning out to be smooth. Countries like China have lodged complaint with the WTO that the steps taken by the US government are damaging the rules-based multilateral trading system. For those of you who don't know, the rules-based multilateral trading system ensures predictable, transparent, and fair trade for all members of WTO, irrespective of their economic size or influence. The WTO Director General has said that the enduring uncertainty due to US's actions threatens as a brake on global growth, with severe negative consequences for the global economy. In a recent interview, Ray Dalio, who runs the world's largest hedge fund, mentioned that if this situation is not managed well, then there are high chances for the US to go into recession, and that will definitely cast a shadow on trading partners as well. The recent discussions between Jerome Powell and Raghuram Rajan also iterated that this lingering uncertainty is leading to reduced spending and delayed investment decisions by businesses who trade with the US. The net effect of this situation will be dented global growth and reduced net exports. Now we all know that China is considered the manufacturing capital of the world. China not only excels at manufacturing high quality goods, but they also excel at producing them at much lower prices. This prowess has made them grow at unprecedented rates to become the second largest economy in the world. The US obviously sees China as a big threat to its economy, and so Trump's administration had put the highest reciprocal tariffs on China and even banned the exports of Nvidia's advanced AI chips. Goods from China were tariffed at a whopping 145%, to which China retaliated by raising tariffs on US goods to 125%. This in turn escalated the trade war and made Trump's administration to further raise the tariffs on Chinese goods up to 245%. Well, China is not breaking its stance, and it is actually taking multiple measures to retaliate against the US. For example, Beijing has ordered Chinese airlines to not place any new orders for Boeing jets and carriers. China has also issued a warning for Chinese citizens who are considering traveling or studying in the US. Furthermore, it has put export curbs on vital high-tech materials such as gallium, germanium, and antimony, and has fully suspended the exports of 6 heavy rare earth metals as well as rare earth magnets. This would choke off supplies of key elements and components that are central to automakers, aerospace manufacturers, military contractors, and semiconductor companies around the world. The result of this retaliation can be clearly seen on US financial markets, wherein stocks of auto companies, aircraft manufacturers, and chip makers have declined significantly. At the same time, the confidence in US treasuries has fallen, which is why the dollar has weakened, and investors are therefore turning to gold to park their money. This is the reason why you might have seen that gold prices have skyrocketed in the recent time. Our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had outlined in the Union Budget that exports is one of the key engines of growth in the economy. India aspires to be a global manufacturing hub, and so it has set a target of $2 trillion in exports by 2030. Sadly, the trade dynamics have changed drastically, and achieving this target seems to be a distant dream right now. The US used to levy an average tariff of 3.5% on Indian imports. While reciprocal tariffs of 26% have been paused for now, a 10% tariff on Indian imports is still applicable as per Trump's administration. The most affected industry by this 10% tariff is the shrimp industry in India. The proponents say that they had margins of 4 to 5% while exporting shrimp from India, and a 10% tariff makes exporting to the US totally unviable. Just so you know, in FY24 alone, India exported shrimp worth $2.7 billion to the US. Furthermore, the tariff on auto components used to be around 2.5%, but with 10% tariffs now, it significantly impacts the operating margins of auto component manufacturers in India. Overall, shipments worth $350 million from India to US are at risk due to deadlock negotiations between Indian and American parties. Customers in the US want the Indian counterpart to largely, or in some cases, entirely absorb the hike in goods prices which has occurred due to steeper tariff levies. The small exporters who can't bear this loss have started eyeing for alternative markets for their shipment. Keeping all this aside, the US is still a key export destination for India and is also its largest trading partner, with exports worth $68 billion between April 2024 and January 2025. The key exports include electronics, gems and jewelry, pharma, auto components, and textiles. Since the US forms approximately 19% of India's total exports, India values that, and so it is not looking to retaliate against the US, unlike EU and China, but India definitely aims to safeguard the interest of the agriculture and the dairy sector in the bilateral trade agreement. Now, initially, the markets looked at the tariffs and the breakout of a global trade war as a big threat to India's economy. However, as per recent reports, the impact will likely be less severe. With goods export to the US forming 1.7% of India's total GDP, Morgan Stanley estimates a downside risk of just 30 to 60 basis points to India's FY26 growth estimate of 6.5%. Also, another report from CareEdge Rating says that India's direct export loss from higher tariffs could be limited to $9 to $13 billion, which is only 0.2% of the GDP. Recently, you might have observed that the Indian stock markets have started to revive a little. It is because India has started to see the Trump tariffs as a silver lining. The thing is, US tariffs on India are significantly lower than those of competitors like China, Vietnam, or Thailand. This gives India a competitive advantage in sectors like electronics, pharma, textiles, etc., wherein major competitors have been slapped with higher levies. To be honest, India is the only major economy that is large enough, skeptical enough of China, and independent from the US that it can act as both a partner for US and a pivot from China. For now, the Indian government is negotiating the bilateral trade agreement with the US, and there is a high chance that in the first tranche of the agreement, which will be completed by September or October, India will earn a reprieve from reciprocal tariffs. I personally would stay invested in the markets because the horizon I see for returns from my investments is more than 5 to 6 years, and so these short-term hiccups don't really make me anxious. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about what you think would be the impact of the global trade tensions on the Indian economy, and whether you think that India has the capability to become the manufacturing hub for the world or not. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for my next video.